Welcome to the Raise Your Bars podcast, where it's all about elevating your life one step at a time. With your hosts, Chris Baker and Ruttan. Together, we're here to guide you through the transformative journey of self-improvement and success. Have you ever wondered what behaviors and actions you need to change to achieve the results and success you desire in life? Well, you're in the right place. Each episode, we dive deep into the strategies, mindset shifts, and practical steps you can take to raise your bars. From personal development to professional growth, Chris and Al share their expertise, experiences, and the occasional tough love, all designed to empower you to reach your full potential. So, whether you're looking to make a big change or simply fine-tune your path to success, grab a seat and let's raise those bars together. Now, let's welcome your hosts, Chris Baker and Al Ruttan.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of the Raise Your Bars podcast. Al Ruttan here with my good friend Chris Baker. Chris, how are you doing?
Doing well, Al. Doing well. Getting ready for Christmas. Everybody's getting in the Christmas spirit and happy and jolly, which is nice to see.
It is nice to see, and I think much needed in a lot of people's lives right now.
Yeah.
And it's actually interesting because we're recording this on Tuesday, December 17th, and so we're a week until Christmas Eve.
Yes, we are.
Wow. Probably won't do a recording next week. We'll take the week off, but then jump back in to do something for the new year.
Yep.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah. But folks, wow, I don't think I'm just going to start out by saying we're incredibly grateful that you do tune in. And for those of you that download our podcast every week and listen, we were extremely appreciative as we wrap up 2024 and start heading into 2025. We're excited about what is to come. And good things on the horizon, Chris.
Yeah,
I think just nothing but good things on the horizon. And it's really about, our attitude, obviously a little bit comes into play there, but we're looking forward to the good things that are going to happen, where a lot of the world is focused on the negative these days. We're focused on the good and the positive, and we are living our life on purpose. And that's actually the subject of our podcast tonight. We're still pushing through Chris's book here, 10 Steps to Freedom, and chapter 5 of the book the title is Living My Life on Purpose. And I actually just wanted to open up with the quote that you share here at the beginning, Chris, by Les Brown. I love Les Brown. He's so good. But he says, "We must look for ways to be an active force in our lives. We must take charge of our own destinies, design a life of substance, and truly begin to live our dreams." And that's by Les Brown. So good. Why did you pick that quote to start this chapter with?
Well, I think it just sort of sums up the title of Living My Life on Purpose. And I think there's too many people. And I was listening on a training that I was doing today. Training for me, not me facilitating a training, where again it was let's start looking for reasons why we can do something instead of excuses why we can't, right? Actually Simon Sinek, it was also shared something on a YouTube video I was watching where he was talking about where he and his friend ran I think it was a marathon somewhere. I can't remember where it was, but at the end of the marathon, they finished the marathon, and there was a stand that was giving away free bagels. And Simon Sinek said to his friend, "Hey, let's go and get a bagel." And his friend was, "Oh no, the line's like too long." And Simon said, "But it's free bagels, and you like bagels." He said, "Yeah, but the line's too long." "But it's free bagels." "Yeah, the line's too long." And that really summed it up again. Whereas Simon Sinek could see he wanted a bagel and he liked the bagels, his friend could just see the long line,
right,
that would stop him getting the bagel. Right. So again, it's for me that most people are living and seeing that long line, and therefore they're not chasing their dreams. They're not living their life on purpose. They are not an active force in their lives. Right. Whereas those of us that pursue our dreams, that are the dream chasers, like we talked about last week, they see the possibilities and they go for it.
Right. And I see that sort of as the line is the obstacle, so people give up, versus the opportunity, which in this case was a free bagel or
Correct.
whatever your dream may be. And you
Yep.
actually say, just in even the first paragraph of the book here, he says most people are living their life by default.
Yep.
And that's just allowing life to happen versus, again, like Les said, create, take charge, design. Most people are living by default and just allowing it to happen.
Yeah. And the trouble is, when you live your life by default, you're putting your destiny in your life in somebody else's hands, right? And that person has probably not got your best interests at heart, right? They're thinking about
Most people are
themselves or what's,
selfish.
yeah.
Yeah,
And that could be, that could be your employer, it could be your spouse, it could be anybody, right? But you should be in control of your life. You have the power to be in control of your life, but you have to make the decision and take action to take control of your life
exactly.
and live it
Yeah,
on purpose.
yeah. And actually, like you said, take action, right?
Mhm.
And that's bars again, behaviors plus actions equals results plus success. But these are all, like, even going back to Les Brown's quote, these are all action words, right?
Correct.
We gotta, take charge, design, begin, all taking, action words versus default, which is kind of, again, just there's no action in
It's
default.
inaction.
It's inaction. Exactly. Exactly. Now, in the book here, you said my purpose has become the foundation for all my decision making. And I think I want to, and we have touched on this obviously in past podcasts about
Mhm.
knowing our purpose, knowing our values, and how important those are to understand them and know them and live by them, because that helps us dictate
Yeah.
the direction we'll go when things come at us. But I want you to maybe try and go a little bit deeper tonight on my purpose becoming the foundation for all of my decision making. And how did you, and again, you tell the story in your book. For those that haven't read it, I think it's important for us to understand how you arrived at the decision to start discovering your purpose to allow that to dictate your decision making.
Yeah, and I think again I was turning 50 years old, right? And
The milestone.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'd had what many people would say, and on the face of it was a reasonably successful career. As a decent level of career in Disney, and in reasonable money, good responsibility, but I wasn't happy. And I realized that I was again probably not in control of what I wanted. And it was one day when Simon Sinek, we mentioned him earlier, his Golden Circle video came through an email as, hey, this is a topic to talk about in your team meeting. And that really ignited something inside of me to find my why and purpose. And when I went through that process, I realized that again it was about helping people, right, and helping other people. And I was like, I'm not doing that in what I'm doing. And so I needed to find ways that I could take control of that and to take action to take control back of my life and do what I wanted.
Right.
And so when I say that purpose then becomes the barometer, if you like, for the decision making and the foundation for decision making. Again, I haven't done it perfectly in the that when I first started doing it, I made mistakes. However, now I feel that I'm definitely back on track to doing what I do, and doing what I love to do. And I use that as that decision making is that choice that I'm faced with, and we're all faced with choices every day.
Yeah.
We make a decision. If I make that decision, is it going to take me towards my vision, my goal? Is it going to align with my purpose and my values? If the answer is yes, then it's the right decision. If the answer is no, then it's the wrong decision. I have to look at the other
Exactly.
options, right?
Yeah.
And
And
often the correct option is not necessarily the easiest one, right?
it's very
Whereas
true.
in the past, I've always taken the easy route,
Right.
and so that's how I use that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have fallen into the trap of saying yes to all these things. It's that new
Correct.
shining object. It's the next big thing. It's the one that's finally going to give me the breakthrough. And we've both you and I have fallen into that trap
Yeah.
over the years
Yeah.
with buying programs and buying systems and buying this and
Mhm.
buying that, saying, okay, this is the one that's going to really make the difference. And meanwhile, overloading ourselves with stuff that we can't even possibly even get through in a timely manner, let
Yeah.
alone being able to monetize that and turn it into something that we could, make an income on.
Right.
So I think over the last year or so, or 2 years, even maybe even 3 years for me, where I've actually stopped. I'm not doing that anymore. I think currently right now,
Mhm.
the only thing that I'm subscribed to on a monthly basis is a thing by Robin Sharma, which costs me $27 a month,
Mhm.
which actually has incredible value. It's a lot of really good. I love Robin Sharma's teaching.
Yeah.
And for that minimal cost, but everything else, and I literally, folks, and you're probably the same way. If you subscribe to these email newsletters and you're getting them bombarded with advertisements to sell you stuff, and it all looks great, but you can't possibly buy anything. And Chris and I both know people like this as well, that, oh, I'm going to buy this program and it's going to work for me. And then I'm going to buy that program and it's going to work for me. And it doesn't necessarily work for you. And again, they're not sure what their values are or what their
Mhm.
purpose is or what their target audience is. And so they're buying everything under the sun to try to make that big break.
Yeah. It's when you go to that extreme, it's sort of like throw enough at the wall and hope some of it sticks, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
hope it's the right stuff that sticks. And it invariably it isn't. The other end of the scale can happen where you get bombarded with all this and you just like swipe and delete it all. And what happens then is you may miss the one thing that actually could make a difference in your life, right? The
Exactly.
one thing that you should be doing.
Yeah.
So if there's too much noise, again, there's nothing there. But even outside of just buying programs and so on, you can look at it with your career choices, and when you're offered a job or you're offered um, a promotion at work or a move to a different department or out of the company to another, how do you make that decision?
Right.
And I was thinking about it as we're talking about it, and you're coming up for your year anniversary at your day job, right? And when you were looking at that decision, you agonized for a while because you've been with your previous employer for a while.
Long time, 12 years.
But when you started looking at it and you look at the values and you mentioned just before we came online that you feel appreciated now, right? Um, so you made the right decision.
Yes.
Right. And I know you made the right decision at the time, probably looking back at your values and beliefs, and did that the company that you were moving to, did their values and beliefs and purpose align with yours?
Right.
And that's what you've got to look at. But if excuse me, if you don't know what your purpose is, if you don't know what your values are and your beliefs are and what truly makes you happy, how can you possibly make a decision on what is the right thing for you to do?
You can't, you're going to go with the grass is always greener on the other
Correct.
side type mentality. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, because I've had employees in the past leave,
Yep.
be gone briefly, and then be knocking on my door asking for a job back,
Right.
because they thought it would be that next great thing, or
Yeah.
the raise was going to make it worth it, but the culture was horrible, or
Yeah.
and I have no hard feelings against my past employers. 12 years, great company, great people. I love them. I still go for lunch with some of them. I'm going for
Mhm.
lunch with my old boss tomorrow, actually. Like, we've maintained those friendships, but for me, it was time for a change.
Right.
And partly because, and honestly, Chris, if I'm going to look at this from an honest lens, and I actually told my old boss this, I said it was actually good for me to leave because I was not giving you my best anymore.
Exactly.
And I
Yeah.
became very aware that I was not giving them my best because
Mhm.
I'd become complacent, and honestly, I'd become a little bit bored. We
Yep.
built sales volume, built a great team, things were running very smoothly, and the challenge was gone.
Exactly. And how many people are in that position?
Mhm.
Right? A lot. Now, some of them will be in that position and they haven't got successful teams and things aren't going well, but they're comfortable, right? They're in a position where, you know, they feel relatively safe. They're earning, you know, decent money. They've got like, they can sort of dictate their life a little bit,
Mhm.
but they're not challenging themselves. They're not
No.
growing. They're not developing. And that's the state where, again, I was in that, just, you know, when I wrote this book or before I wrote this book. That's why I ended up writing it. And, you know, was it the right decision at the time for me to leave Disney at the time? Maybe, all right, because I wasn't in the right frame of mind to move forward, right? So
Mhm.
sometimes you've got to like stop, press that reset button, and then get going again, right? But you've got to find yourself before you can move forward.
Yeah,
Um,
and again, I seem to recall us touching on this. I'm not 100% sure. And you know, was it the right decision? Was it not the right decision? Yay, you can't live in the past. You made the
no,
decision. Um, you grew a lot through that, and because of that,
absolutely,
so you
yeah.
gained a lot of wisdom through making that decision,
Mhm.
and you showed an incredible amount of courage, something that even though I've had now 3-4 years of a very, very good side income from our training and development, from stuff I do locally, and then now some of the stuff we're doing together, like 3 or 4 good year, like really, really nice incomes right from it. Um, to be to not have the courage maybe to take that leap, because you know what, you do get comfortable and you do get used to certain amount of
Mm.
things. But I think now I want to just read 2 things from the book here and we'll discuss it again real quick. First, the people who sit back hoping and wishing for their circumstances to
Yeah,
change are going to be in for a long wait and a whole lot of disappointment. And
exactly.
this, that come back to the old job, the previous job. I could have retired there very easily. I could have coasted for another 10, 11 years at the time. Could have coasted for another
Yeah,
11 years till I'm 65 and just maintain the status quo. Store was making money, team was good, sales were good, you know, and and it would have been coasting. And I
yeah,
would have been bored and I probably would have been miserable and I would have felt unfulfilled.
right.
So, I mean, I wasn't sitting back and hoping and wishing for my circumstances to change. I wasn't really looking for a change, to be honest. I didn't necessarily want to change, but it would have been a lot of disappointment.
Right. Here's the thing with it as well, though, Al. Right, when you're in that, when anybody's in that frame of mind and that mindset,
Mm-hmm.
it's you don't realize it at the time, but it's more of a scarcity mindset than the abundance mindset,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
therefore you're not going to attract abundance.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so you're not, if you want to, and again, if you're listening to this at home or wherever you are in the car, whatever, and you basically self-reflect, and this is, you got to be honest with yourself.
Yes.
Are you giving your best every day? Are you pushing forward towards something, or are you coasting? Are you drifting? Right, are
Mm-hmm.
you sort of waiting for something to happen, or, you know, maybe you're in that frame of mind at your work and you're trying to create a side hustle. You can't go from drifting to creating a side hustle. It's not going to work, right? You need to be giving your best. You need to be performing, and then guess what? Your
Right.
side hustle will probably pick up at the same time,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
The who you are internally is who you are portrayed as externally, right? You
Mm-hmm.
may not
Mm-hmm.
see it, but other people will see it.
Right.
And I was conscious of that in 2018, and I didn't want that on my teams either. And that was one of the reasons why I took the decision to leave. You know, now as Al says, I've gone through a massive amount of growth and development and and self-awareness, training and growth in that time. And
Mm-hmm.
now I'm better, stronger, you know, more productive, help people even more than I did at that time,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm. And I think that,
Mm.
but again, you wouldn't be who you are today without going through that. We
Correct,
may not be in business partnership today if you had not gone through that.
correct.
Right. So all these decisions that we make, again, folks, if you make a decision and it doesn't pan out the way you envisioned it take a step back, analyze, study, examine, look at why maybe it did not go the way you had planned, and then learn from that and re-enter it. As Paul Martinelli said, was one of the things was re-enter, right? Like,
Yeah.
then go again. And it may take you down a different path, it may be a different route, but that may lead you to the success that you were looking for the first time.
Exactly.
And you might have just not been on the right road. Don't beat yourself up for it. Don't blame over it. Learn from it and move forward. So I want to read something that I think still, even though it was written in 2005, you quoted in your book published by Think TQ, and they illustrate how infrequently people develop strategies for achieving their vision. I just wanted to share these stats, folks, because I found it fascinating myself. I think it's still very accurate today, and I think we can all learn from it. It says, and this is on page 110 in your book, Chris, says 26% of people focus on specific tangible targets that they want in life. 19% set goals aligned with their purpose, mission, and passion. 15% write down their goals in specific, measurable detail. And I think that's where a lot of people lose it, is they're not writing down those goals in specific, measurable detail.
Yeah.
And I want to pause here for a moment and say, if you go to goalgetting.ca right now, goalgetting.ca right now, you can register for a free webinar Chris and I are doing on Saturday, January 4th, I believe it is. And you can attend. There's going to be a workbook. There's going to be some great content. We're calling it not just another goal setting seminar, because it isn't. We're going to give you some great value that day. So go register there, and we're going to help you write down some of these goals. Now, the next one was 12% maintain a clearly defined goal for every major interest and life role. And again, I think some of us just write down too broad of a goal. I want to make $1 million this year. Great. Okay. Well, what about your personal life, your physical life, your spiritual life, your family life, all these different things? 12% identify related daily, weekly, and long-term goals with deadlines, and only 7% take daily action toward the attainment of at least one goal.
Yeah.
What did you do today to move you closer to one of the goals you have? And the next question, do you actually have any goals?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe that should be the first question. Do you have any goals? Have you
Right.
written them down? And what did you do today to move you closer to them? Every time Chris and I get together, we're moving closer towards our goals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and I think that the second question should be, to add one word to it, Al, or should be, what did you intentionally do today to move you towards your goals? Because again, that's the whole point of living your life on purpose, is you're taking intentional action towards achieving what you want.
Right.
Whereas, you can get lucky. You can get lucky sometimes, and things drop in your lap and you say, oh, I'm moving towards my goal. If you didn't intentionally do it, that won't be sustainable, right? That won't last, because you can't rely on luck and good fortune alone to get that. That's we often hear, like, hope is not a strategy, right?
Right.
Yeah. It and a goal without a plan is just a wish.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not going to come true. So
so what's the challenge for folks today? Actually, I think the challenge is go to goalgetting.ca and register for our webinar.
Yeah.
It's free.
If you want to achieve something in 2025, if you want to be in control of your 2025, if you want to move the needle positively in 2025, you got to take action. Absolutely. Right. And that's why we're offering that goal getting workshop and seminar as a as a free boost for you for 2025. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it.
It'll be well worth the hour you put into it, with what you'll get out of it, provided you act on it. Exactly. Hey, everybody, thank you for tuning in. We sincerely appreciate it. And of course, if you are a business owner, you can go to raiseyourbars.com and find out a little bit more about us and the services we offer your business. Let us help you increase your bottom line profit by 10, 20, 30, or even 40 or more percent in 2025. And you can go to raiseyourbars.com and find out how. And again, goalgetting.ca to register for that goal getting webinar on July 4th. Have a great week, everybody, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you for tuning in to the Raise Your Bars podcast. If you found value in today's episode, please consider sharing it with your family, friends, and coworkers. We would sincerely appreciate it.